What's up, guys? Welcome back to the shop, garage, whatever you guys want to call it. Saturday night, approximately what, 10:30, something I build at night. And that's why you see me out at the field and I have, you know, a box of 500 extensions and 100 servos of different types. I like to build at night. A lot of times, you know, I'll get started around this time and go into wee hours in the morning. Today I wanted to take a break from the bigger jets, and I have an older EPS F-117 from Banana Hobby. It's been sitting here for a while. I have this is the 64 millimeter, and I also have the 70 millimeter plus the SR71 sitting here. One of these days I'll finish those off, but I wanted to get the boxes out of the way, so I'm going to build these two. I'll start with the 64 millimeter size, and it's just basically EPS styles, the older style foam. So if you want it a little bit more durable, you can put in a coating of polyurethane. You can spray it, or you can brush it on, and give you a little bit more strength on it. Pretty easy airplane to put together. It just has the two wings with the aileron servos on it, now it's got the rudders, and yeah, these will act as ailerons and elevators. So there you go. That's pretty much a whole airplane. This is tiny. It has the three wheels, the nose wheels already on there, at least the wire part, the skid. The other two are in here, and you have to put them on there together. It's kind of nice that it has a plastic nose piece, but I mean, I would prefer a little bit harder in case you smack it. It's just regular plastic, like a soda pop. It's bends easily, whatever. And this one will just go over the nose to give it the little shape of the antennas and so forth, kind of like that. But that just means any little tip on the external antennas or whatever, you'll probably break them. But it's nice that they do that so you can have it, the nice shape of it. Clear canopy comes separate on there, so you can put it on yourself. If you want to find a pilot, you can. I mean, at this point, at this level, I'm not gonna worry about it for a pilot for this one. So, hey, we'll just put it together and go with the flow. It does come with a tube of glue. I mean, I'm not knocking them. They're great. It's just like contact cement. If you use any of these, then that's fine. It just takes a while for it to dry. You put it on both surfaces, tack it on there. It's just like foam tack, basically, I guess. Put it on there, wait for them to, cure a little bit, and then put them together. Guess what? I always throw those out. Nothing wrong with them, just not my preference. When I'm building smaller foam airplanes, I just get foam safe CA and kicker. I get the Zap style foam safe and regular thick on it. And then you want to test it on a small area, make sure you're not gonna mess up anything. The fan and motor are already installed for you. They're in the back there. The battery system, there's a little hatch in the front. I mean, this is not a big airplane by any means. It takes a 1100, I think, battery. So anyway, there you go. There's the battery compartment. All right, so I mean, I don't think I need to go through the manual to see what's in it, but there's a manual in here. Says try not to catch it when you're coming in for a landing. Do not fly in strong winds, blah blah blah. List of instructions, list of parts. And it does call for 1300 milliamp battery. I don't have any of those, so I'll just test it with a bigger battery just for the giggles. And I mean, basically it just starts by gluing on the main wings and putting in the servos to the center of the fuselage here. So the wings have the servo extensions coming out, and when you glue on the wings, they want you to put in the servos in this little slots right here, the line, and then just put in the two servo leads through the center there. So let me pull one out and you will see what I'm talking about. Pull out the tape. It's labeled as channel 1. And there's the servo lead. They're gonna want you to run it through like so, and then go ahead and put it down the center here. Put it in there like that and go into the fuselage. So both wings will be the same. It's whether you want to do the vertical stabilizer / rudders first, or you want to do the actual wings first. The slots for the landing gear are right here. So here, I guess I can put them on there right now since the one on the fuselage is on there. And they're just hard rubber tires, not soft by any means or anything. That don't expect any cushioning or bounciness off of them. And then just insert them in the slots. There you go. There's one wheel. Insert it in the other one and get the extension out. This second extension is labeled channel 2 elevator. The other one is channel 1 aileron. So obviously you need aileron mixing, like I was saying earlier. There's wheel number 2. Now, before I glue any foam anywhere, I go ahead and try to remove paint. You can see there's the paint is on the whole area where they want you to glue the wing. You can get, here I have just a ruler. This is what was close to me right now. But basically, you just want to get something to scratch some of that paint off, so you can get in there. And when you glue it, it makes a good bond. Now, if you have a small screwdriver, you can go ahead and put a couple of small holes in there. You can do it with a screwdriver, a little awl, or whatever you have in there that you want to make a couple of small holes. And I could probably do that just with the an Allen wrench here that I have. And basically, you don't have to get every single piece of the paint off, but you want something where the glue that you put on there is not just gonna melt the paint or come off with the paint. So you get paint off of there, so when you glue it on, you glue on the wing, it grabs to the actual foam and not just paint to paint. I did it one way, now I'm gonna do it on the other surface here. And I'm not trying to score it or anything. I just want to scratch off some of the paint. I'll show you what I'm talking about with the small holes in a little bit. First, we're gonna go ahead and get some of this paint off. Now, while we're talking about installing this, most jets, when you're balancing them, I haven't checked the balance on this one yet or where it's at, but 99% of the jets that are out there, you're gonna balance upside down. And whether you're gonna balance it on your fingers or you're gonna balance it on a CG machine that, you know, like for these smaller jets, you can put it on one of those, like for example, the Great Plains CG machine, or just use your fingers. I have the Zycoid scales, and this is obviously way too small to use the Zycoid scales on it. I'm sure it'll still work on it, but you know, at that point, you're gonna take so much time getting the dimensions from the center wheel, the center of the main wheel to the center of the nose wheel, and from the back wheels, the main wheels to the CG and all that. for the Zycoid, so we're not gonna waste all that much time on it. Now, here you go. Just get, like I said, you just want to get the paint off. You don't want to, you don't have to scrape it all off and everything on there. You just want a good glue joint when you put it together. You don't want to take too much off of the corners because you don't want the paint to show through where you removed it when you glue it together. Now, I mean, I don't know if everybody does this or not, but this is just a simple L-wrench, or you can use a small screwdriver. And what I do is I poke a couple of small holes on it. Not big holes or anything, I just put a couple of small holes on it. And what you're doing is you're creating a place for your glue, whether it may be epoxy, CA, or whatever you want to put on there. You want to put a couple of indentations on there. You don't want to go all the way through, you just want to put a couple of indentations on there. So when the glue goes in there, you're making a slot for the glue. I compare it to putting nails on it, but you know, obviously it's not nails. I don't know if that's the proper term you want to use, but basically you're just making, like I said, little holes for the glue to go in there, so then it has more of a grab, and that's just the basic idea. All right, so one side's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and take the paint off the other side, just so the wing is not on when I'm trying to do this for the second side. Again, you want to stay away from the edges where it'll show on the airplane when you glue it together. You don't want to, oh, you know, you took all the paint off, and now when the wing is joined, it doesn't look as good. It looks, you can see the paint is missing, if you will. So you want to take paint off in the middle, but just the edges. You want to be careful not to take off too much paint, so then when you glue it together, it doesn't show. Unless you want to touch it up with, you know, with paint. What I usually do with airplanes like this, or even the bigger ones like this ones, if there's a paint I want or need on any of the foam airplanes, I take a small piece of the airplane. For example, on this one I would take, you know, one of the wings, or in this one I would take the wing to Home Depot and get the little paint samples. They're about, I don't know, $3.99 or $4.99. And what you do is you have them scan the paint that you have on your airplane. Then you get a little can about, I believe it's 4 to 6 ounces. I'm not 100% sure right now. I don't remember, but anyway, the point is you get one of those, and then you paint your foam airplanes with it. It's water-based paint. If you want to spray it on an airbrush, I usually mix it almost to a 50-50, where it's half paint and half water. You want to get it through the airbrush where it's almost the consistency of milk. You don't want to have it too thick, because it'll just clog up your airbrush. And then you don't want it too watery, because then it takes just a lot of it to cover the area that you're trying to paint. But yeah, I do use the spray gun on these type of airplanes. It's just that I do add water to it, and you just have to be careful. You gotta experiment to see where your sample or your paint will flow through properly on a spray gun. So, all right, I got most of the paint off that I wanted to, or at least enough where I get a glue joint. Again, you're not trying to get every single piece off of it. You just want to make sure that you're getting glue on the actual foam, and not just where the paint is at. Excuse me. Here is the second wing ready to be glued on there. And I'm not going to glue on the servo leads yet. First, I want to make sure that the actual wing is glued on there properly. And like I said, you can use the contact cement that comes with the kit. There's nothing wrong with that. Just because I don't like it or don't prefer it, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It's just personal preference. That glue takes forever to cure for my taste, so I always just use CA. impatient sometimes, if you want to call it that, that's fine. But I have no problem with that. It's just personal preference. You can use your like I said, epoxy. You know, 5-minute, 10-minute epoxy. You can use the contact cement that comes with the model airplane. You can use any foam safe stuff that you like out there. Foam tack. So I have the holes already on there. I'm gonna go ahead and put on some glue. And there's no need to overkill on there, so on areas where I got the glue over the paint or over where the wing is supposed to be at, I just get a piece of paper and knock it off. Then I go ahead and put the wing where it's supposed to be at. Now you can go ahead and do a kicker. There's nothing you can do kicker, but the kicker is the one that usually attacks the paint. I'm not in a hurry, so I have the kicker here, and I can apply the kicker, or I can just wait for it to cure naturally or on its own. It doesn't take that very long. You just want to make sure that it's in the correct area all the way through. You don't want the wing protruding up too high right here, or too low on the other side, or too high on the other side. So try to get it in the best possible way where it's making full contact on the whole area as possible. And yeah. Now if you see my glue joint, you're gonna see a little bit of white right there. That means I did get some of the paint off where it shows a little bit. Now if you're the type of guy where that bothers you, that's fine. You have a couple of options. You can get a Sharpie and just go over that line. You can get the paint, like I said, at Home Depot. I probably already have some of this black, so I'll go ahead and spray it later on, and then make it go through. I mean, it doesn't show everywhere. It's not that bad for my standards. You see right here, this is probably the worst area where you can see the white on there. So, but all in all, if you're not in a hurry and you built a couple of airplanes before, you could probably do this airplane in a whole 20 minutes, I guess, if you're not talking and trying to make a video. And so, well, this thing is that side's gluing. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the other one, and then we'll talk about maintenance. You know, what do you actually require to check on these when you want to do maintenance? Obviously, the first thing you want to check is make sure you can do that every time you charge it. Make sure the battery's not getting bloated. First of all, you know, when you come down and fly, check your battery, see how much battery, how much is left, how many milliamps you use compared to your flight time, and check it. Make sure that and adjust your flight time to whatever the battery capacity is that you have left. I try not to go below 30%, but you know what? Sometimes I do, and I'll just check the battery, or and adjust my timer, or adjust my throttle, so I'm not overdoing it again, where I'm running out of juice. I've ruined batteries many times where I've flown longer than I was supposed to be out there, just because I was having so much fun, and then you forget about the timer. That's happened to me before, so that's not a big deal. Just one of the things you check. You want to check your wheels and make sure they still spin freely. On this one, it's not a big deal. You just want to check the wheels and make sure that they still spin. On the Aerofoam jets, you want to actually remove the wheel and check the brakes. I was checking and seeing on my L39 there in the top. Is it on the top? Yeah, back here in the top. I was getting some friction on one of the brakes where it wasn't applying properly. I took out the wheel and inspected it, and I actually had dirt in there. It had little rocks. So that's one of the things you want to do. You want to check the wheels out and inspect them. One of the things that a lot of people don't check, you want to check for nicks on your fan. So this is an electric one. You want to check for little nicks on the fan blades and make sure you didn't break any or nick any of the fan blades. And that could be done, hey, you could suck in a bee, for example. or a fly out there, and it'll nick a blade or throw a blade, and then later on, next time you go run it, sure enough, your fan will explode. You can explode a fan running it here in the table. You know, you can suck in little pieces of foam or anything else, just debris, and then that's it for your fan. So a fan is one of the things you want to check. On this one, I mean, you want to check the screws and make sure the screws are not coming loose for the ailerons or the elevons. You want to make sure the wheels are not popping out of place there. What else do you want to check? Your connector. I mean, every time you plug up your connector, you want to make sure that it's not sparking too much. If, for example, this is a Dean's connector. Let me see, I have a Dean's battery here. If it starts overheating, you'll see that the pins might be, well, this is too small to draw that much heat. But on larger models, it can start warping the little T-pin in there on the Dean style connector. Just waiting for it to dry here a little bit. If you want, you can also put in CA around the edge right there, where the wing meets the fuselage right there, to make sure you got a good bond. And you want to do it with one of the smaller nozzles if you have them. If not, if you're going to do it with this, get yourself a paper towel and then apply the CA and then clean up all the excess real quick. Here, let me get a paper towel right here and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Give me a sec here. All right. So now, we'll just go to the side right here, and it's the wing joint right there, right here, where the wing joins the fuselage, and I'm just gonna apply a little bit of CA, so it'll go down into the area where the wing meets the fuselage. Kind of like a fillet, but I mean, CA doesn't really create a fillet. You just want to make sure that there is no gaps in there. And like I said, this is a small airplane, so it's not that critical. You're not going to be going ballistic. And after I do apply it, I clean it off with a paper towel. There you go. You don't want to apply CA, and you don't want to, accelerator on that, because it'll just look ugly later on when it finishes, when it dries up. For me, just putting it like this and then cleaning off the excess, that works for me. And like I said, one of the tricks you can do later on, if you want to cover all this up, if the Sharpie is the right color black for you, then go ahead and just get a Sharpie and just go over the edge with a Sharpie right there, and then you won't see any of that. Just make sure that when it dries, it doesn't look different than the actual color of the airplane. I'm gonna see if it knows what just lights on, or if I need to. Oh, it lights on. It's got a little collet or a plastic keeper there that screws on, so I'm gonna put that on while the wings are drying up, and then I can move on to the tail. Well, I'll probably have to do it later on when I flip it upside down, so I'll put that over to the side. Excuse me, I seem to be having a runny nose right now, but you know, that's life. There it is. It's sitting on his wheels. Then it's just the vertical fins. Test fed them to see where they're gonna go, and then you can see how much paint you have to remove from both sides. So this is gonna be the left one, and this is the right one, and you can tell by either the angle or obviously the decals. And you want to put them in the slot until it gets a good grab right there, so you know exactly where it's going to be at, and then you can take off whatever paint is required. So I can see that most of this side is going to be under the fuselage there, inside the fuselage. So there it is. It just take off some of the paint, and when it fits at full angle right there, I'm not gonna take off too much or paint up here. You can draw the outline and then just take off a little bit there if you want in the front. You just get whatever to. Rudder installation. Once you get the paint off on there, you can go ahead and glue it. If you think you're gonna be going ballistic, which I can guarantee you it's not gonna need it or not gonna go that fast, you want to make these stronger. Cut a toothpick in half and stick half of it in here and then the other half down there. So when you glue it on there, it'll give you more grip. But like I said, on this such a small airplane, you're not gonna need it. I'm just gonna apply CA to the actual vertical fin because the fuselage has such a wide area. I don't want to be putting extra. I'll just put some here. All right, fine. I'll put it on both sides. And you just make sure you grab the right side for your air that's gonna go in the airplane. And then basically, I mean, I'm sure there's an angle to it that has to be on there. You just follow it, the contour and the shape of the fuselage and the vertical fin, and then put it on there. You can see that if you're putting it on wrong, for example, like this, it doesn't sit well, or so just go into the foam fits nicely cradled into the fuselage, and that's where you want it. It doesn't need a lot of glue. I mean, like I said, the surfaces are not big. You can put a little bit on the fuselage too. You don't have to get carried away. Any extra any extra glue can be removed with the paper napkin. So go ahead and fit it in there. Just hold it for a sec or two. And then if you have any excess glue coming out the side, go ahead and carefully just wipe off the excess. And like I said, if you have any touch-ups you want to do, a black marker, a Sharpie, just make sure you test it in an area where you're not going to be able to see anything. There it is. Basically, the wings and the tails are on. That basically makes it complete. The nose wheel, there's a little rubber thing on there that you have to put on, a little rubber nut. Here it is. And I just got it started by hand. It is not moving from there. So you're going to have to get some pliers or even if you have hemostats, get some hemostats, and basically you just want to turn it. There's threads on the axle, so you just want to turn the little black nut and get it in there a little bit. And this is going to be one of your areas where you want to actually check it every once in a while, make sure it's not coming off. It's just a little plastic nut, and here's, I'm going to tighten it with pliers too so you can see. You don't want to crush it, you just want to grab it enough where it'll spin in there. And just spin it in there until you feel that all the threads are in there. The only thing left is your canopy. I am going to search for a pilot here in my stuff and see if I have one. The nose piece in the front, so you can put it on there. And I'm going to take some paint off real quick before I put it on there. I don't know if I'm going to try sanding the inside to rough it up and make a better glue joint. I don't know if it's going to scratch it where the paint goes through, and then it looks like it's painted on the top. But I just want to rough it up a little bit before I put it on there. I don't have any sanding paper up here on the table, so I'll just do it later on. I'll glue the nose cone right there, And there you go. That's the F-117 64 millimeter from Banana Hobby. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a battery. I don't have a 1100 here with me right now. I'll get it later on. You have to put in your servo leads, and your receiver is basically gonna go in the same area as the battery, because both of the leads go to the front right here. They go in there. Channel 1 and then channel 2. Both of them go in there, and your receiver will go in this area back here as well. There is no access to the nose from in there, so no, it does not go in the nose. There is no other hatch besides the battery hatch, so your receiver is gonna have to go in there too with the battery right here. Thanks for just talking shop.